Hi, good evening. This is Jess Farmer from the Gym Beer down in Hackney Wick in Schwartzworth. I'm just going to talk tonight about a very important topic which will affect many people. And that is anterior pelvic tilt, which is forward pelvic tilt, which causes a curve in the back, which can result in back pain. Now, the reason I say that this affects quite a lot of people is that if you spend a lot of time sitting at a desk, this may well be affecting you. I'll explain why as the video goes on. Hi, Lise. So I just want to start off with just a note before I go into anything to do with this. Now, what I'm going to be describing is a typical scenario. Now, life is not typical. Everyone is going to have wildly different cases of this. They're going to have many deviations from what's causing this as well. And, you know, it is an individual case. So what I describe may be you in certain aspects, but may not be you in other aspects. So it's really important that you get it checked out by someone who is aware of, you know, how to deal with this kind of thing. So this is just a guideline to go by, and everyone is different. So yeah, in your case, it's going to be different to the next person. So the reason I say this is I've had 4 clients with this problem, all with back pain, that we've now managed to fix. And they've all had wildly different causes. 2 of them have been quite similar, but the other 2 have been completely different. So same problem, but different issues from person to person. So just bear that in mind. We're gonna talk about what happens and why it happens. So a lot of it is caused from sitting. So I've got a chair here which I'm going to demonstrate. Now the first thing to bear in mind here is that the body is incredibly good at adapting, and the body will adapt to just about anything that we choose to put it through. Extreme temperatures, extreme exercise, you know, whatever you throw at the body, it's going to adapt to that stress and change itself to become more efficient at doing that particular task. Now, the same goes for activities such as sitting or lying down. Our bodies will become incredibly conditioned and very good at doing these tasks. So I'm going to model on my chair. So imagine so this will affect many people working in offices unless you optimize your sitting position so that it's not going to impede your posture, and you can do that. The best way I've seen to do that is through an orthopedic chair, but I'll talk about that a little bit later on. So imagine if you are sat down in your chair all day and you're working on a keyboard like this, maybe hunched over, maybe not, maybe you've got a nice straight back. Okay, so this position to stay in is not a position we naturally will be in. Like, when would you ever imagine a caveman, say, be sat like this ever? Okay, now as a result of this, our body adapts to become very good at doing this. Now the adaptations go as follows. So this can happen in all cases. Some cases might be different, as I was saying. So we've got our hip flexors here, psoas muscle, and the quad muscle here, which these become very, very tight because they're in this flexed position all day long. So they're going to tighten up to remain in that flexed position all day long. Okay, now, meanwhile, the opposite side of your legs, so your bum and your hamstrings, they don't need to work anymore because they're used to walk, run, sprint. Now, when we're sitting, your bum doesn't need to work at all. So again, the body is incredibly good at surviving. So if it sees that a muscle isn't working, your brain will actually switch off that muscle as it perceives that muscle is a waste of energy. We deal with survival here. We don't want to waste any energy, so we're going to turn that muscle off, similar to how it turns the core off, as I was saying yesterday. So legs get short and tight, bum gets long and weak, which can also lead to problems because then you lose support in your lower back. And Yeah, so coming forward like this. Also, your chest is in that flex position, so your chest is going to get short and tight as well, while your back muscles get long and weak. So now this is a problem. So you may remember I've been going through the analogy of the bicycle wheel, and if your bicycle wheel is out of alignment, then you're going to be in pain. So you've got some spokes that are tight, other spokes that are weak. So imagine if the whole front of your body is short, tight and facilitated, you're going to have tight spokes there, and the back of your body is going to be long and weak, so you're going to have weak spokes there, which are going to pull your bike rim out of alignment. So what does this mean in terms of what's going on in the body? So I've got a little diagram for you guys. So this is an ideal situation, but actually looking at it, it looks a little bit too flat. Okay, and this is what's going on with forward pelvic tilt. So I'm actually going to add something to that drawing. So what you can see is a normal pelvis position there, and here you've got forward pelvic tilt. Okay, now that's caused from here, as I mentioned, the quads and the hip flexors being tight here. Commonly we have no lower abdominal strength here to resist the hip flexors, so that pulls the pelvis down because it's got nothing to pull it back up, because your lower abdominal is going to be super weak. Now because the bum falls asleep on this side, we've got nothing to pull the pelvis down here, and that's often coupled with a really tight back here. So imagine you've got a tight back pulling upwards there, you've got tight quads pulling forwards from the front, you've got no lower abdominal strength to resist it from the front, and you've got no hamstring and glute or bum strength to pull your pelvis down that way. So the whole thing is just being pulled right out of alignment. Now if you can see, getting a bit closer to the camera, see how all the vertebrae are all bunched up here. Okay, that's not an ideal situation, which that can lead to overloading the back and can manifest in back pain. So that's how sitting can cause you back pain. One potential way. There's myriads of different ways that this can happen. Okay, so now I'm going to teach you guys a test, okay, to see if you have this this forward pelvic tilt caused by the lumbar lordosis. It's called a lordosis. Okay, so lordosis is excessive curve there. Kyphosis is excessive curve here. So you may be unlucky and have both going on. Okay, so ways to test: get a stick, or even better, actually stand against the wall. What you want to do is put this, stand against the wall, bum touching the wall, shoulders touching the stick, head touching the stick. You want to put your hand in between your back. Okay, so now if you have a lumbar lordosis, that hand is going to fly straight through. Good, just check. Yeah, you can see. So normal is that the hand stops about halfway through like that, so the bony protrusion of your hand stops it from going through. And if you've got a completely flat back, which can happen as well, it won't go through at all. So you're looking for the hand going all the way through. Okay. Now, if the hand goes all the way through, you're looking at a lumbar lordosis. You need to be asking why. Why is this happening? So is it a tight lower back? Is it tight quads and hip flexors? Is it weak lower abdominals? Is it weak bum and hamstrings, or any combination of the four? So I've seen a strong bum, but tight quads and a tight lower back completely pull it out, even though the bum was really strong. I've seen I've seen strong lower abdominals, quads that aren't that tight, but then the back pulls it out. So you can have any combination. Everyone's different. Everyone's going to have a different cause. So what we do to fix this, we want to stretch the tight muscles and strengthen the weak muscles. So say if it's worst case scenario and you've got all four going on, so that's quads pulling from the front, back pulling from the back, weak lower abdominals not being able to resist, and weak bum. Okay, what we do is stretch out the quads, Stretch out the lower back, so good quad stretch. It's going to be to get our friend the Swiss ball and come down and like this, really stretching there. So this is a really good stretch. It's going to stretch out your quads and your hip flexors at once. Let's give them a good stretch. Now you may also want to get a foam roller, okay, and roll these out, okay. So jump on there, and you want to find the point of pain and just stick on that point of pain. You're also going to have, if your quads are extremely tight, you're going to have a tiny muscle in there called the tensor fasciae latae, which kind of attaches from here to here. Chances are, if your quads and psoas are tight, that's going to be super tight as well. Okay, so you want to get those to a good place. Train the lower abdominals as well. I'm not going to go too in depth with that because we covered that earlier in the week on Monday. But lower abdominals, you want to get to a point where you can comfortably do leg raises like that. Back stretch, so we want to be doing cobra stretches and also child pose, and also we want to be getting into the tissue, so like getting a friend to maybe to like stick an elbow in the back, or yeah, just like this. You want to really break up the tissue, similar as you would with a foam roller. So I'm just going to go a bit quickly. My battery's just going, but so that's the back. Now for hamstrings and glutes, one of the best entry exercises is going to be to do glute bridges. So really squeezing the bum, squeezing the hamstrings, and you want to do a number of these. Bam! Explode up. Really squeeze all the way through. So you want to squeeze the bum as hard as you can. Squeeze the hamstrings as hard as you can. Really try and flood your awareness into these areas. Okay, then you're gonna work them a hell of a lot more. So yeah, like I say, this is going to be the case for some people, not the case for everyone. But yeah, it's just extremely important. Now, chances are, if your lower abdominals are turned off, then your transverse abdominis will also be turned off. But I did a video about that yesterday. I'm going to do another one tomorrow in terms of breathing techniques. So yeah, that just about wraps that one up. Now, unfortunately, it's a very complicated issue that I can't really do it justice in one Facebook video because it's quite a complicated issue. It could be many different causes and everyone's different ultimately. So this is really one where you've got to see someone. So if this sounds like you, and also you can tell it's kind of like Donald Duck postures because that pelvis is tilted forward. Okay, now if this sounds like you, then give me a shout and we can sort out a free assessment whereby we can go through, have a look at things, and yeah, there's chances are we can make some quick fixes on the spot. At the very least, I can give you some recommendations to be going on with. Like I said, I've managed to get rid of 4 people's back pain who have all had this issue, so yeah, I know a little bit about it, and yeah, it's very, very common. So you want to be looking out for this if you sit at a desk or if you're sedentary for any period of time. Also, as a final note on the sleepy glutes, because you could do fantastic work in the gym just to go and sit in a chair and undo all that work. So what you want to do throughout the day, it's a bit of a funny one. You want to be getting up and doing glute thrusts. So bam, bam. So really keep them activated. I would do, say, 20 of those every sort of couple of hours or so, and really squeeze the glutes at the top. Okay. So if you're interested in finding out more health fitness tips and tricks, I've got a mailing list which I'll put in the notes below. If you sign up, you get a 6-part series all detailing the 6 foundation principles that I base my training philosophy on. So quick final recap. Anterior pelvic tilt, like this, caused by tight quads and hip flexors, weak lower abdominals, tight back, pulling it that way, and weak hamstrings and glutes from this way. So you want to stretch out the tight muscles, strengthen the weak muscles, and you're going to pull your pelvis back into alignment and can very possibly get rid of any back pain that's plaguing you. Yeah, like I say, join the mailing list, and tomorrow I will be going through breathing techniques and how to further strengthen the transverse abdominis, and going to be elaborating on that. So I mean, chances are that you may have a few things going on. So weak TVA, forward pelvic tilt, everything's interlinked, everything affects everything else. Okay, so hope you guys found that interesting, and yeah, good night. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.